Hello guys, welcome to Learn Overflow. In this video, we will discuss the process of creating an Azure Static Web app, and we will query an Carbon API using an Azure Function. So we will build a static web app from scratch to query this API. Before we actually move on, you should know what's exactly the goal we're going to do. First, we will create a basic VueJs app, and then we will use the API to query the CO2 signal API to find our region's carbon usage and change the screen color accordingly. So, what are you getting to learn from this? You will first learn how to configure a basic web application in Vue.js. Then you will build an API to query an external API. Okay. So before we actually start the things, we are here in our Visual Studio Code. Inside a folder, I named it as Green App. So in this folder, just a README file is there and nothing is there. So we'll first create an new folder in it. No, leave it. So first we will see what are the prerequisites that we need before starting our program, starting our actual coding. So we will need Azure Static Web Apps, an extension for Visual Studio Code. So here you see this, that's Azure Static Web App. You need to install this in order to use the Azure Static, like build a good Azure Static Web App. So I'll be using this here, and above that we would need Azure Tools. That's we call as Azure extension for Visual Studio. So that's the Azure Tools that you would need in this repository. So these are the two prerequisites you would need. Also, you would need a Carbon API. I will show you how to get one. That's basically an Carbon. I would say co2signal.com is there, and you can get your API from there. I'll post all the links in the description. Don't worry. Next, you would need a Vue.js CLI. That's a simple one. I guess anyone working on Vue.js have a Vue.js CLI, but you can definitely install it from Vue.js. I will just post the link again in the description. Also, you need to install npm, a package manager for JavaScript. Since we're using Vue.js, we need npm. As an alternative, you can use yarn, but here I will be using npm. Okay. So those are the basic requirements you needed. So now we will start with our actual task. First thing, we need to create an Vue.js app. Okay. So I will just here in our green app. Let me start the terminal. Yeah, the terminal is here. So you can see we are just here in our green app. Within this green app, we will we'll create this Vue.js app. We'll say Vue space create app. So this would take few minutes for us. I'll just fast forward this part and let you know what are the things. So here they would in between they would ask you about the wizard to start. So use the default one, that is Vue 2 with Babel and Slint. And also it would ask you about whether you want to use npm or yarn. So I'll be using npm for this case. You can use yarn and change your commands accordingly. All right. So let's fast forward and limit after the exact Vue app is created. The installation is done, and here we have this, our app got created. All right, so this is what our app is right now. Now we'll do a few more things with our app. We'll just move to our app folder, cd app, and in our app folder we will use npm to install Axios and a Vue router to our app so that we can query API and use the query parameter in our URL. Okay, so for that we will use Axios and Vue router. So let's say npm add Vue router space axios and let them get added. So finally our npm add view router and axios are done. So we added view router and axios to our app so that we can route our query and API to our app. All right, now we'll just look into this package.json file. Let me just shift this terminal down. All right, just a second. Yeah. So in this, you can see in this dependencies, you can see Axios and Vue Router got added with their latest versions. Now our app is ready. Like the main basic app that is a create app by Vue is ready for us. We can directly go ahead and say npm run serve. So what this will do, this is just open up the basic Vue app that we have. Okay, there's a basic thing that gets created when we do npm like Vue create app, and this would open up an 8080, I guess. Just let it give us a server for that. All right, there you see that this got hosted in. Uh, we can open this in a moment, like control click, and here you see this is the basic app that gets created when we say Vue create app. So this is of no use for us right now. We'll just improve this and make our desired app out of it. All right. Okay, so let's start with some coding. So we'll go into this source file src, and there you can see you can find that main.js. Within this main.js, this is the basic app that we have here from pre-built. We'll just add something to it. We'll say import. We'll use view router, import view router, and we'll say from. From. We'll import view router from that view router that we created. All right, now we have our view router here. Next thing we need to do, we need to create an router instance for our variable. So we'll say constant router, constant router, and we'll refer it to, we'll say a new object to it. We'll say, oops, view router. And here we go. So in this view router, so this is a reference. So we'll just do this. And here is our view router created. Next, we'll use this view router. So we'll say view dot use. We'll give her the view router. And that's the basic thing we need to do here. Also in this new view object, we'll just refer it to router also, and that's the thing we need to do in our main.js. Saving that file would again rebuild the app. Now although this app has only one page for us, what it says, there's one error. Okay, this there is an error. We'll just fix that in a moment. But we need to know that this app has only one page, and we're going to use the router to read the query parameters from the URL with from the URL, and we'll do that at some later stage. For now, let's do something in our app view. Here is our app view. We will replace this template. We will write a different template here. So, all right, guys. Here I defined the router again. I just did some, added some style to it, added some emojis to it, and there you can see it has an emoji that is actually a go on rolling emoji, and you can see that in a moment soon. So we just added this stuff like carbon intensity, and these are the stuff that I added here. So in this block, you will try to show the loading animation where when the app gets loaded, and then until the app has had time to return data about your region's carbon uses. So that is the time you need to give the app to return data from our API that the API sends us. So this is the loading time we are giving the app, and in the style of the app, we gave it as a variable so that we can change the background gradient of the app using the API's value. All right, now you can see an error. That's I said there is an error. After I actually save this, you will see an error, and we will fix this error in a moment. Now you are in this app.view file, and to clear the error that is shown to us, look here, something we have extra for us. That's this components hello world. This is not something we need. All right, this is something, it was previously there in our app, and we are not going to use this hello world. So we need to remove this thing. Just remove this thing. There's a hello world import statement too. Just remove this thing, and look, your error will go. Let's just save this file 1 second, and this should fix your problem in a moment. Yeah, this should be gone in a moment. Just let it compile again. You can see it in a moment. No problem with that. Now we removed our hello world, but we are working with Axios. So we need to import Axios and add the required data methods that will return data to our front-end application. So here in the script, we'll do import Axios, and with that we will say import Axios from Axios, and we will write a data method so that it can transfer the data from our to our app frontend. All right, so it will be a data method, and what it will do, it will return us some response. I'm going to return us our carbon intensity. So it will return us our carbon intensity, and we'll set this just blank one, and it will return us our background, and similar way here goes that, and it would make our loading to be false. Right here there was a loading. I said that we tried to load that this was given for the loading, and now we'll make our loading to be false. Sorry, loading to be false. Also, we are giving it a region so that it gives our data for a particular region. Now we will also return that region, and that's it. That's what we did. So for just a moment, yes, just end this file, and here it is. Again, the build is on. This is from few other. Oh, guys, few are my bad. Few other. That's it. Now you'll see. Other actions notified news. Let's say app review, or app review, and here, using actions notified news. Okay, so you have to now. So it is anyway. Let me explain you this part, like what we did in this data method. We just added these values, and these values act as our placeholder for the data that flows around the app. In the next, we will add a lifecycle hook called created, and after closing the comma of this data, we'll just put this lifecycle uh, hook to it. The lifecycle hook will fire when our app actually gets loaded. All right. All right. Here I have added a lifecycle hook called created, and this would get fired once the app gets loaded. Uh, when the app would load. So what this does, this makes the loading to be true, and so that it says the loading is done, and then first we are okay, we just wrote this lifecycle hook here, and what it does here, it says that the loading to be true, and we are setting the variable loading to 2 so that the spinner that starts and gives the and runs the loader of this page. After that, we get a region from the app's API URL. So there we get the region, and API URL, and if it exists, man, if it exists within our exact region range, then we set up a try catch block. So here we set up this, we set up this try catch block, and what it does here, within the try catch block, we set this up to get the response from an API call. And after that, we manipulate the data return to set the URL background. So here you can see we are manipulating the data that we got and setting the user URL background. If the carbon intensity data that we received from our API is less than equals 100, we'll say it's green. If it's more less than equals 200, we'll say it's yellow. If it's less than equals 300, we'll say it's orange. And the similar, we are changing the background with it. You can see this statements remain same. We're just changing the background here. And if we see the carbon intensity is greater than 300, we'll say this is red, and the background will be changed to this red one. And after we save this, you can see it actually uh, goes out of error. This is the last thing you saw, that it has an error because it haven't used Axios. And here within this function, as soon as we use this Axios, you see the error got removed. It created again and the error got removed. If I just show you again the app we have, so it would be more or less a basic similar one with just an emoji for us. So this emoji will actually load once the API gets called. We haven't created any API till now. So, all right. Next, do something to our app styling. So write some style, like let me light the style the app, initiate the spinner animation and set up some gradients, and I'll show you once I finish this writing this app styling. So what we'll do, we'll uh, just replace this style, and I'll just add some add styling here. All right, let's meet after I replace the styles here. All right, guys, we're done with the app styling. So we said that app will have this kind of font family. We'll use this front family, and then those are the basic colors, and text alignment would be the center for our apps. Then I just defined the HTML body, div and h1 classes, h1 tags, and we defined the exact specification of those tags. So the margin will be 0, 0, 0. Just look into this. This is a basic CSS that we did here. And then you can find the, we just took the CodePen.io work from CodePen.io, and this was the blowing leaf animation that I took here from there. And we'll just work on this, and this is the leaf, that the loading leaf that I said would go on there. So that's the keyframes used for this loading the leaves. So that's the basic CSS part done in this. Yeah, we took some parts from codepen.io, and here it is. Let's save it. After I save it, it will again, yeah, it will, wait, yeah, it just run the app again, and there's our app. Let's move there and see what it does. Look, this is the animation that we try to create through our app, like through that CSS. After that, we are done with our building the app. Now it's time to build our API. All right. So to build our API, we would need to add an folder within our green app folder. All right. So if we try to build a folder, so it gets built it within that. No, we don't want that. We want within. No. This is not okay. I'll just build an app, a folder within this green app, and there you see we just created a folder within green app. Yes, it's a blank folder. So let's open that folder here. Rather, we'll just get another instance of our terminal and it's a so cd API. We are into our API folder now. So let's build our API. For that, we'll use the Azure Functions to build our API. All right. Now to build the API, we'll just move to this Azure Tools section, and here we'll just create a function for our app. So we'll just create a function. Then it will say the selected folder is not in a function project. Create a new project. So we'll say yes, we want to create a new project. Oh, I just created it multiple times. So in that we'll say we'll create an JavaScript function here. After that, we will create an HTTP trigger for us, and we will name it as say get carbon in users. Get carbon users, and we'll say that the function will be authorized and anonymous, so anyone can call it. So here you'll see creating a new project. So let's move back to this directory. Okay, so finally our function got created, and here within this API we have API folder. We got our carbon users get carbon users function, and from that function the index.js function index.js files opens up. So we'll just override this modules.export and the whole thing in this index.js with uh, some content here, like including our actions, then including our regions, and then doing the stuff that we're trying to do. That is we're trying to get the exact region or the latest API data. And here, remember this thing. You need to get your own token here. Okay, I'll show you how you can get your own token. I'll just add my own token here, and obviously I will show you my own token, and I will let you know how you can get your own token here. So first you need to go to here in the browser. You need to go to co2signal.com. So here in the co2 signal, just enter your email and sign up for beta. So they will just send you confirm your email address after that, and they will send you your exact API token. And for now, I will use my own token. Yeah, I added my own token here, and here I'll just save this file. And obviously, I will not show you my token. You just get your token from co2signal.com. All right, after we got our token, we got our API key actually. So we just need to make changes to some of the other files. That is we need to change our package.json file in this app. So in this package.json, you see within this dependencies, there's nothing here, but remember we used Axios in our app file. So what we'll do, we'll just take our Axios from here, package.json within our app file, and we'll just copy the exact version. Otherwise, it can be a problem if we just use a different version of Axios. So move to our package.json, and here we'll give our Axios, add our Axios. Obviously, make sure that your Axios version is same in both the dependencies, and then save it. After that, move to our terminal. After moving to terminal, we'll say npm I, and to install our Axios in within our API, that is within our function that we have, and we are done with. All right. Now we can test our API, like we can test whether our API is running or not. So what will it do? We'll just go to this debug option in Visual Studio Code and then attach to node function and then run it, and this should start running, I guess. And yeah, seems going well. Let's see what goes after that. Yeah, it's running. This should return as a URL for us to maybe localhost 7071 for us to test our API. So this is where in our API folder right now, and yeah. This gave us the thing that we are looking for. This is the URL that we have here. So we'll just control click over here, and here we are in our API. This wouldn't give us error. So just let's add something. The region equal, this is not open up since we haven't given in region right now. So say region equals, we'll say France fr, and see what it does. Yeah, this gives us a JSON file. All right, so our API is running well and good. So this gives us a JSON file for us to work with. All right, in this Vue app, there's one more file you need to add to test the API locally. So now move to the app folder, not to the API folder. Move into the app folder, create a file in the root directory, not in source public, not anywhere in between. Just create a new file in the root directory, name it as vue.config.js. Yeah, name it as vue.config.js. So in this file, let get created, and in this file you just add this codes mentioning that you are just adding the configurations, or you are just adding the configurations to proxy the API route to the development server. After actually proxy paste these things and save the file. So after you save the file, then you should now be able to use your new API locally. Assuming your API is still running on port 7071, restart your app and take a look at how it looks. You can try changing the region with change the region by changing the region to other regions. We are back in our API folder. So in this, go to this deploy and attach to node. Just waiting for it to get completed. Yeah, you can see this got completed, and this function got attached to our node. Now it's time to add another terminal, and within the second terminal, move back to and then move to our app folder, and within our app folder we need to run our app. So to run our app, we would require to say npm run serve, npm run serve, and let's run our app here. Alright, you can see that this worked for us. So let's open this URL, and we also know that on the other URL, the host URL, this our backend is the API is working. Now we'll just on the second terminal, we just open this or run this app. So let's open this and see how our app looks. So this is currently loading because yeah. So this took France as default. That was what we said, but you can actually change this to your region. So I'll change this to India. Let's see how it goes. So let's change this to region India and reload the site once. Yeah. So that's the current carbon intensity, and this data is actually provided by the API that we use, the CO2 signal API. So if you are interested to know about the regions, so I'll just put a link in the description and you can find all the regions that you have, they have or they provide the API for. So that's all you can do, and make sure you just have a look in the description below. So that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching this video, and wish you all of you a very happy new year. Thank you everyone.